Welcome back to a day 8 of my Christmas in July series. I am so excited for this card. This was heavily inspired by another crafter that I will post in the description below when I get to editing this video. I just can't remember who she was right this second. But we're going to start off with a shape slash card, and today we are making a 5x7 card. So I know in the world of cards, a lot of people are very used to 7 or 5x7 cards, where in the crafting world we make a 2 size cards. So I figured let's make a 5x7 card, and this heart shaped die helped a lot to take up the room of that 5x7 card. And we're going to use a little bit of mixed media. Let's get that out, use those paste that we have so that we can get those used up before they dry up, right? You're going to go use your paste and it's going to be completely dry. So I am using this snow stencil by My Favorite Things. Everything will, of course, be linked below for you to go find these products pretty easily. Now, I will say a lot of my products are purchased on clearance sales. I'm a cheap crafter. So hopefully everything is there. If I cannot find something, I will try and find something that is very close to it. So that you can kind of get the same effect. Obviously, a lot of places have snow stencils, so this one should be pretty easy to find. But I am using my Tim Holtz texture paste. I believe this is just the opaque one. I will list the right one. I have like 3, like a little 3-pack of these. So I believe it was the opaque one, to make sure that you can see that. All right, go clean those stencils off right away, as that textured paste will definitely harden on just about every surface, and you, of course, don't want that. And we are going to take the middle of that heart shape die and do a little bit of ink blending. So to begin with, we are going to start with Salvage Patina, then move into a Mermaid Lagoon, and then right into the Villainous Potion, and we're going to blend those all together. You do see I'm using my pouncers. Mainly I like using my pouncers to get a lot of ink down to begin with, especially when I want something a little bit more vibrant. Because blending brushes just don't put a lot of ink down, but you can obviously see that I'm getting that circle type look, and that's not quite what I was going for, especially with that purple. I was like, oh, it's not working. So you are going to see me turn over to my blending brushes. I probably need to look into like the Blending Buddies, I think it is, and something different for when I want a lot of ink down, but it all works out good. I got that ink down and then started blending this out. And because I'm using Distress Oxides blend so extremely well that you don't really have to worry about it. And then also you'll see that it is a little bit layerish, I guess I should say. But once this dries back, it all blends super well. See, those Distress Oxides just end up blending all together, and you'll see after I put the paste on here that everything looks amazing. It's really a foolproof way of blending your inks. So again, just using that stencil to get those snowflakes down. I probably should have moved this up just a smidge so that the snowflakes, it matched the other part, and I didn't think about it. So, but it all works out. Don't worry about it. There it is. It's so pretty. I loved it. All right, we're going to go clean that stencil off and get to our stamping. We are going to use the little, what is it? North Pole Littles from Hello BlueBird, along with some Intense Black ink from Honeybee Stamps for our alcohol markers. I did want to place this in here. I wasn't quite sure how my stamps, I'm not using the same stamps as my inspiration. So I wanted it to make sure all of my stamps were going to fit and that I didn't need multiple reindeer. I probably could have used one more reindeer, but this stamp set didn't have two that were flying in the same direction. They had two that were flying, I guess, in opposite directions. So, and the one was like sleeping. It wasn't like the one that was flying the same direction wasn't quite flying the right way. I don't know how to explain that. Anyways, so here we go. We are using our Ohulu markers and finding combinations for you because I know that this is the biggest complaint about Ohulu markers is that their number system is just a little messy. And I will give it to you, it is. But once you get some good combinations down, these markers are perfect. They're great. They blend so easily. I am just using Hammermill Smooth White paper, and that can just be found right on Amazon. Again, like I said, I will link it below. I also have used Nina White Solar Crest White paper, I believe it is, 80 pound and 110 pound, and I like them both. Hammermill, I do believe, blends a smidgen easier. It also, I feel like, stamps a little bit easier, but either one is perfect, and I really don't have complaints about any of them. I will list my markers out below, but I am trying to show them on camera. Now, I'm going to try and get way better about this, as this is my first time doing all of this, but no worries. You will also see that my Santa, the eyes just wouldn't stamp. I don't know exactly. They were there. I just don't know if like the eyes were not level with the rest of the stamp. You can kind of see that there was like a little outline. I'm not sure. It's no big deal. It's just the eyes. And I go back in all of the time and use my glaze black pen to fill in the eyes after I'm done coloring anyways. So I wasn't really upset about it. My red, I pretty much stick with the same red combination, especially for Christmas cards, the whole way through, which is R8, R180, and R6, I believe. Hopefully, again, like I said, it will be up here. Yeah, that's R180 right there. That's my mid-tone. And I believe it's R6 is my highlight. Let's see. Oh, nope, I'm totally wrong. R230 I'm using on this one. Maybe I've changed it up a little bit. I keep on finding better combinations. So this one I'm using R280. For if I want a good black, but not like black, I use CG209 and 207 for those blacks. And these images are so tiny that really you don't need 3 on most combinations, especially for those little tiny parts like his belt, his little sleeves, that kind of thing. For now, for my skin tones, I am reverting back to my Spectrum Noir pens just because I don't have the skin tones of my Ohulu markers. And I have a good skin tone in my Spectrum Noir, so I just, leave it there. There we go. So used my glaze black pen to put the eyes back in. Again, it's not that serious. I think a lot of us go over the eyes anyways, like I said, with a glaze pen. So it was just that one stamp. I don't really know what was going on with it, but for my gray, I have been using CG200, I believe it is. And that's like a barely there color. And then I blend it out with my colorless blender. And that just gives that white a little bit of shadow. And then moving on to this gold color, we are using Y2, Y6, and do I ever show it? Let's see. I don't know if I ever show it. But this turned out to be a good gold color, and I had not used a gold color yet. There are my purples. I wasn't quite sure what colors to do my presents, but then I was like, oh, we have purple in the background, so let's bring a little purple into our presents, trying to keep the same color, you know, you don't want to bring in 50 million colors, trying to keep it a little consistent. So bringing that purple, that Villainous Potion back into our presents works great. And he's already in a green sled. I love putting my Santas in green sleds for some reason, instead of red sleds all of the time. So I thought it worked. Also, the, you know, purple and the green are complementary colors. Right there, you've seen me, a little bit of my green went into my yellow, so I pushed that back with a yellow is what you'll see there. And you can see it right now, but it really just dries up and goes away. It's the great thing about alcohol markers is you can kind of push those colors back if you go outside the lines. Another tip for going outside the lines is just using your white gel pens to make it white again, pretty much. So, but that time I had went into a different color, so couldn't use that white. I believe I used this. Oh, you know what? I think I used just 2 colors in the green of the holly, and then, you know, obviously those holly berries were like literally a dot. So you will see this color combination come up a lot for my reindeer browns. This BR1. BR2 and Y11, I believe is what it is. This is a great brown combination. I will use it again in a color with me, I believe, at the end of the month when I'm doing, no, about the middle of the month when I do the reindeer color with me. So these two just blend together very well. And it's an easy one to pick out since it is actually colors that go together. Oh, this one is Y9. So I believe that my lighter brown combination starts with Y11 and then goes into like earth sands and all that kind of stuff. So, and I think you're going to see those colors come out because I do his ears with those. There we go, right there. The E210 and E280, I believe is what it's going to be, is what I kind of use to blend out his ears. There we go. And then his antlers. So if I want a lighter combination, I will use my lightest tone, my highlight color, and then use a lighter tone onto that so that it stays within all of the same color line, palette, whatever you want to call it, color tones, but gets you a much lighter color so that everything matches. Giving Rudolph here, or a reindeer, I guess it's not Rudolph, he doesn't have a red nose, a red collar. And then this didn't come with, a little rope to connect Santa with his reindeer. So I am going to make that. You'll see here in a minute. After die cutting these out, I always do go back in again with my glaze, just because I feel like sometimes the die cutting machine will flatten the image, I guess, flatten their eyes again. So most of the time, if I don't have to, fix that stamp issue, I won't do that until after I'm done die cutting. Adding a few highlights with my jelly roll. I think actually this one is the 8. It looks like the 8. Let's see. Yep, it is the 8. But most of the time I use the 10. I don't believe that I knew that I wasn't using the 10. But you can see that the 8 works perfect. But I do prefer the 10. All right, so let's start building our card here. Using my Barely Arts glue so that I make sure that I have a good, secure liquid glue to put that down. And then we are going to pop up our original heart. But we do need to make some snow so that, yes, Santa is flying, but he is going to start out on a little bit of a snowbank. So, but to add some dimension to our heart, I am going to pop this up on a little bit of foam tape. And then I'm going to cut out another piece of this heart die, just so that I have the exact shape of the bottom of the heart, and then pretty much, so there it is, and then kind of figure out where I want my snowbank to go, and then just hand cut this out. I probably did have a snowbank die, but honestly, this was easier. It was just one little curve. It's nothing big, and that worked. See, much easier than throwing that back through the die cutting machine. And that's where I probably said I didn't need to go as far down with all of that snow so that it stayed, but using that liquid glue will get in between the crevices of that paste and allow that to sit down there. So, all right, we're just going to do our sentiment, and this is a pretty easy sentiment. I'm nothing big here. I think I used Bring on the Merry from the stamp set, and just some VersaFine ink, black onyx ink. This is my favorite ink for sentiments. It's super crisp. It's super black. It just is the perfect ink for that. And then if you do not have a sentiment die cut, I will use sentiment strips from other stamp sets and just customize it. So I'll stamp out one half of it and then move the stamp. I'm really sorry that this is off screen. Move it down and cut the other edge, and then your sentiment is perfect. I went a little low on that one, but that's okay. I think it slipped in the die cutting machine actually. All right, so let's start placing our cute little characters here. And I really didn't even pop this sentiment up even a little bit, just because we had already popped up the heart. So I just put it down there. Now, if I had to redo it, I might have done it on like blue paper or something just to make it stand out just a little bit. But I wasn't that worried about it, so we weren't going to go redo it again. But this is where I was like, well, there's no like reins, I think that's what they're called, to connect the Santa and the reindeer. So I just colored some on that paper that I had left over, fussy cut that out, and bam, we have a little, makeshift rein. And honestly, it wasn't too bad. I probably could have fussy cut it a little bit better, or a little bit closer, but that is not the main part of this story. So it looks just fine. Gluing those down. Again, not popping these up again because it is already a lot of dimension. And my Christmas cards, I do a lot of mailing. There's not hand delivering like some of my like graduation cards or birthday cards or anything like that. So I definitely want this to get through the mail and not have any issues. And I already mail out a lot of Christmas cards, so I don't want to have to do a ton of extra postage on everything. So, all right, reached perfectly to our little reindeer. Putting a acrylic block over that just to make sure that it is down, especially with all of that paste on there. And I'm loving all of the texture of this. Putting our holly leaves down. They're so cute. Just a little bit of, something again to, go up there. And then I felt like it just needed a little bit something more, so I pulled out some navy cardstock. I'm going to cut this panel down by like 1/4 of an inch on each, not on each side, 1/8 of an inch on each side, so totaling up to 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And obviously this was already centered, so I needed to take a little bit off on each side. And then going to cut a piece of 5x7 navy paper. A lot of my cardstock, guys, it just comes from Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, that kind of stuff. I don't have all of the fancy cardstock. Again, I'm a very budget crafter, if I can be. And yes, I love great cardstock, good thick cardstock, of course. My white cardstock I usually splurge on. But for my colored cardstock, most of the time it is layers. So I don't believe that you need, every piece of your card to be 110 pound cardstock. if you already have that white piece that is nice and thick and substantial, you're only putting it on another one. Oh, look at all of my stuff fell when I pounced on the, I had to like hit through that paste. So it shook my table and knocked all my stuff down. So yeah, I just don't believe that every layer of your card needs to be 110-pound cardstock. That gets thick very quickly. And when we're already adding dimension, you know, a good 60-pound weight cardstock will work just perfect. And then honestly, that layer wasn't even my last layer because I have another card base. So all in all, this card is very substantial. It feels, you know, thick. It doesn't feel flimsy, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's fine. All right, guys, we're going to stamp the inside of the card because we always will finish the inside of the card. And the next video will be also doing a coordinating envelope, so be on the lookout for that. We are just going to now glue that down. Thank you guys so much for being here. Can't wait for day 9 of our Christmas in July series. And I will see you guys in the next one. If you've gotten this far, I would love for you to put a snowflake in the comments below. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.